Hey crafty people, welcome back to my channel, and in case you're new here, I'm Sarah, also known as Craft Nerd because I'm a nerd who loves to craft. I do paper crafting, card making, junk journaling, and mixed media art. Let's get crafting! Oh, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to continue working on this big girl. She is a chunky monkey. But we're hopefully going to finish this butterfly journal today, although possibly not, because as I'm noticing how big of a chunky monkey she is, I'm thinking I may want to do a topper with some kind of binding on it so that we can keep her from exploding open. So maybe one more video before we get her completely finished, but we're going to continue working on our decorating our signatures. So, and actually I think to make life a little easier, benefit of the elastic binding is we're going to pull out the red signature because that's what we've got to work on next, and put this out of the way so that I have some space to work. Alright, so I did kind of flip through off camera to see what needs doing on this one. So we need something to go into this pocket. We need something to go in this tuck spot, and I have this journal or this tag that we did in a video, so I'm going to stick her there, but I want to do some decorating. So let's do that. Grabbing over my red bits and bobs and seeing what we have left. Not a whole lot, but I think we can do something. Move her out of the way and see what we can come up with for decorating this guy. Am I on screen? Yes, okay. Let's see what we've got in here. We've got some labels that we created in a video using a digital. Let's see if we've got one we like in reds. Like it better if the space was to that side. We're gonna go with that. Let's take this out of the way. Let's grab our tweezers and our glue and glue these things on. Half that down to with the paper towel to get glue seepage, because that's such a delicate skinny piece there that, yeah, there's gonna be glue seepage. All right, this guy needs to be edited because that busted one is not working for me. So we're just gonna cut that piece off and poke out the center pieces. Behind, and yeah, let's pull up those petals a little bit. I think I'm going to add this guy as well. She can go in there. I just need to find something for there. I think I'm gonna go with the hardware head to play off the like screw head highlights that I used on that tab. So let's glue that down. I swear this one's calling to me wanting a rub on. So let me see if I can find a rub on real quick. However, I've got 49 and marker washi stickers that would work. Yes, we do. And I think we're just gonna stick that guy up there. And this one down here. That works. All right, moving along. This is our center. Ooh. Tuck her in all the way. This is our center spread where we've got that on there, and I've got this tag that I'm just going to stick in that pocket. And what I want to do, a little decoration on here, and then otherwise just leave the prettiness of this alone. And then we've got a pocket here. This pocket needs something, and then this pocket needs something, and I've got these two tags already done, so they're going to go in that pocket. So let's work on something to go in this pocket. Oh, and we still have to figure out what we're doing for that page. Wait. Okay, I pulled out stuff. Where did I put the stuff I pulled out? Okay, so when I was looking for my inky backgrounds that hadn't been finished yet, I found a journaling card that apparently I partially finished. Or I had at least picked out what was going to go on it, and it's a pretty good size to go into this pocket. So let's just glue this butterfly cluster down. Realizing I came back on, and now I'm like, oh wait, I need some coffee dyed copy paper because this is a little dark on the back, so it needs backing. That can go into that pocket like so, and I think we're going to need to do some tabs, so I need to get that out. All right, so that's going to go there. Got this one also needing something, and let's see, how does this look on here? I actually kind of like that. All right, let's glue that on. Fine for the back, and I think I'm just going to use my red dauber to ink the edges with whatever red is on there. I think it's probably Lumberjack Plaid, and I'm not sure what ink I used for this. It might be Aged Mahogany. That's going to go in like so. It also needs a tab, so we'll leave it sticking out a little bit. This guy, let's see, does this fit and do we like it? That is an option. It's option A, option B, option C. I think I like option A best, so we're going to use this guy. Let's figure out some decorating for it. All right, we're going to do a layered butterfly. And it definitely needs something to go behind it to help it pop a little more off of here. And I'm just having to think what I can use. I think I'm gonna grab Entomology CMS328, and I'm just going to stamp the scripty bits. I think we're gonna go tea dye. I want it to be faint. Yes, that's what I was looking for. Like that. Where is our page? Let's bring that over so we make sure we position it so it's going to show up in the window. That's about where we want it height-wise. Let's glue that down. I know these are leaning a little pinkish, but I think it still works with our pocket. Let's glue him on. Piece of paper and my antique linen. Get a little antique linen and glue just the middle down so there's some movement. Now we need to, let's see, how wide is this? This is 3 inches wide. Let's use that template. And I do have a video on my channel showing you how I made my tag top templates. I will try and remember to leave a link to that in the description box. And it needs fibers. I'm gonna go with some alcohol ink dyed lace and staple that on with my tiny attacher. Kind of wish before I had attached it, I had glued them together and put a tiny attacher in the middle, but don't want another staple like in the middle of the journaling spot there, so we're gonna pass on doing that. Pop this into this pocket. Take a look at what else we got. All right, we got that guy, that guy. I am like out of butterflies to make another cluster, which is what I was thinking of doing over here. Like, all right, we're gonna come back to this because I'm gonna go check and see if I can figure out where my alcohol inked butterflies are, and then we've got to figure out what we're doing here. Kind of thinking what I want to have is one of these on a piece of paper for journaling. That'll sit where the pocket, where the window is. But I've got to find one, find where the rest of them are. My place is, craft space is just a complete and utter disaster right now because between working on this, recovering from the Night of Mystic Arts, and a rush job on a gift for a friend, I've got stuff all over the place. Let's stick this back in and we will come back to finish this up after I go find the things I need to find. All right, pink. This needs something, this needs to be attached to something to go in here, and I need to grab paper for doing that. All right, let's set that aside out like that again. Get that going, get that in there. Okay, that's good. Those are all good. That's good. Oh, these I decided we're gonna go into this pocket. This needs backing, so I need to do that. That's good. Right, that needs copy dyed paper. I need to get the copy dyed paper out. This needs some fibers. Let's grab some fibers for that with Super Floofy. And I recently did a bit of reorganization in my craft space, and I keep forgetting I moved things, so I keep looking for them where they used to be. So this is my Bead Easy, and it just makes it easier to get our fluffs through, since it's so hard to see where things end with all the fluffiness. And let's snip that. And this one can go into there, and now it's got a topper, and we're good. Okay. All right. This one needs backing. I need to go get copy dyed paper. Backing, that's good. This needs a little tag. Let's do this because I'm gonna have to think on the little tag for a sec. So I've got, I think some of the fibers I bought came in these bags, and so we're going to trim off and try and keep it straight. So I'm gonna get out my paper trimmer. Thread this part through. And we're gonna need to cover that. And I was thinking, let's grab one of these labels. It's a starting point for that. See how that looks on the page. I feel like this is blending in too much, so that's a no on that. But do I have... What I do know is I want this, and I want the scroll to kind of cover up like that butterfly wing right there. So let's glue these two pieces together because they're a definite yes. Need something behind it. I just am struggling on the what. Right, I took a break, had a little bit of a think, and I think I like this, although the orange inking on this is not giving me orange enough. So we are gonna grab a dauber and some spice marmalade. That to get it more in line with the color I want. Then we're gonna grab some black soot. And get a little on the doily because this is die cut out of some really flimsy book page, which turned out to be not the best idea because it makes for really flimsy, very delicate pieces that you gotta be careful with because they rip really easy. Now, because it's a clear bag instead of gluing it on, because you'll see the splodgies of glue behind, I'm gonna grab washi tape and washi tape it on. And since washi tape is not permanent, I am gonna put glue underneath the washi tape. There we go. We've attached a clear bag without making a gluey mess. And our fabric tag can go inside. And since the, I'm like, why is it not going in? It's catching. Since the back isn't glued down, you could actually put something behind that as well, but I think we're just gonna leave that there because let's face it, this girl, she is a chunky monkey. Okay, so I went and grabbed a couple things. That's fine. Where are we? Because for this one, the idea was to use this, but it needs to be bulked out a little bit, so I grabbed something I had 2 seconds ago, and which is right in front of my face. Oh, and that's not the one. It's this one was going to go in there, like so, but it needs to be on something. So I've got this piece of coffee dyed paper, which we need to trim some off, but I want to keep, I think, that part. So let's stick it in like so and mark where we need to trim off. Grab our paper trimmer. Go a little narrower. Not cut all the way through. And I think that shifted a little, but that's all right. Like so, and we can put, yeah, you really can't see that at all. I know, we'll do it on this side. And you can still journal, but it's a far more interesting back for journaling on. All right, let's glue this down, and then we'll add some more decoration to it. Just debating whether I want to deco punch the corners. Yeah, kind of like that. But around the bottom corners, let's do the easy stuff first. I'm gonna put a butterfly to cover up that white spot that would have gotten a tassel if I was using this as a bookmark. And I found the rest of my butterflies. Don't think I did any orange alcohol ink, guys. Gonna layer him up. Yes. No, you know what? No, what we're gonna do is add that guy there and this one here. Yeah, I like that. These, what are these? These are digital, but right now I can't remember who's digital. Just checking to see if there's one that I may want to put like at the bottom. No, I think that's the winner. All right, let's grab paper, brush, antique linen, and I'm going to antique linen them before I do the trimming off. That's not the right antique linen. That's the right antique linen. Grab some Spells Marmalade, the edges. That can go in here. I like that. So I followed the same basic formula to create another skinny tag to go in this pocket and put a washi sticker butterfly on the pocket. This needs something for that to go on, and I think I want a piece of book page. That is covering up too much, because I want something behind this wing too. It's not gonna tear without a tearing ruler. All right. I don't want to cover up too much of the really cool background we did. There we go, although I think I want to shift the whole thing down a little bit, but let's start gluing things together. I feel like that's a little too stark, so we are going to grab a brush, grab our spiced marmalade, just tone it down a little. Yes, because it still stands out. I've got the orange signature out because we had pulled that out last night when I was working on this. I went ahead and backed this guy with some coffee dyed paper, but it needs a tab. So let's create a tab. And I'm gonna use, so I printed out, this is the page in the center of the journal, and I printed it out again. So we're gonna use this to punch a tab, I think. And I've got a well tab punch. I'm just gonna fold a piece in half, a corner of it in half. And we can put that on there so it's easier to pull out. Let's ink our edges. And actually, I'm gonna round corners on this. I've done that before I put that on. I think I'll just grab a pair of scissors and kind of round it off so that it's sort of rounded. That was more angled than rounded. Yeah, that's a little bit better. She can tuck away in there. So that's done. This guy needs something. Got a scrap. I am going to use this punch. I swear I cut it down to 2.5 and it's a little bit over. And I pulled out This is either Abroutique or Art Studios, and I beeswaxed it, and we're gonna stick that on there and add a butterfly that's now coming off it because I trimmed it down from when I tested this out. Let's see, do we have one more orange butterfly in here? Not look like I've got, dang nabbit. I think we're just gonna let it hang over. I may take a scrap piece and glue it and then trim so that it's a little bit more stable. Let's do a little inking, and I am gonna trim more of the antennae off. And before I glue these things down, I want to grab a mouse pad, a stamp block, and it's actually already on a stamp block because I was using it to stamp the background of pages. I wanted to give a little bit of subtle interest in the background. So we're going to do that there. That guy, oh. All right, I can get him mostly on. Let's glue this piece on. That works. I feel like it needs a number. I do like it. I don't love the color. So we are just going to add some orange. Going to start to glue this down so that I just have its placement correct. And it needs fibers. Got some seam binding. Trying to decide, do I want that much? That's a little long. Let's cut this in half. And that will go in this pocket. All right, for our center spread, what I want to do is I cut out the butterflies, and we're gonna glue them down, but we're not gonna glue them down all the way. So I wanna stamp the back of the butterflies so that if you see them, you're not getting white. And this stamp and the other one's from Tim Holtz Stampers Anonymous Tiny Prints CMS 460. Now we don't have stark white should they pop up. Because what I'm thinking is what we'll do is glue down the body and part of the leaves. Part of the wings. We do that. Looks like our butterflies are kind of popping off the page. And actually what we may do before we put the rest on is just a little bit of light shaping. When the thing gets closed, they're probably going to get smushed down a little bit, but this way they've got a little light shaping to them. Okay, one more thing to do. Okay, so let's grab another piece of coffee dyed paper. Let's mark it off. Let's round our corners. Use the painted book page. I've got a short on my channel showing you how I made these. And again, just adding a washi sticker butterfly. And it needs a tab too. So let's get out our scrap paper and punch another tab. So just fold it in half and punched. Yep, like that side. Let's ink our edges. Butterflies left in oranges, so let's grab that guy right there and add him on. Yeah, I like that. Oh look, I've got that almost perfectly lined up with the notch I punched out. Why is this not going in all the way? There we go. Almost perfect. All right, so the orange signature is done. I am going to clear off some space because I've hit the point where I can't actually function on this desk right now. And we'll move back to red. Okay, so I got the red out. I already punched out some tabs, so we've got a few spots we need tabs for, like this journaling card. And we'll just glue that on real quick. There's another journaling card that needs a tab. Where is that guy? Over here. Oh, and I also inked the edges on the tabs using lumberjack plaid. Now, for this one, I want to do a little cluster. So what I am thinking is this label, with a little bit of excess lace, and I did trim down all the lace on the various signatures off camera, and a butterfly. It's layered up. I feel like I want a number there. Like that. So we are going to scooch, ink the edges of this. Glue the lace on the back, and I'm just going to use my art glitter glue because it will glue fabric. It just doesn't grip quite as well as Fabri-Tac, but my Fabri-Tac is about out and is giving me fits right now. I need to make a trip to Michael's to pick up some more. And glue this on. And I'm just gonna leave that like that. Let's trim this up a little bit. Grab this, this, and this, and our antique linen. Then I'm gonna grab a pen and draw on antennae. we will trim off these antennae, but not glue this guy down all the way. Probably should have glued the little one on first, but we're down. Let's trim off the antennae on this one. There we go, just a little bit of decoration on that page. So that page is done. That got a tab. I put a piece of just coffee dyed paper in here with a tab. And then the last thing is we need something for here, and I've pulled out stuff. So I found my peoples. Let me cap my glue, because what I want to do is grab my Distress watercolor pencils. Grab some lumberjack plaid. Color the butterfly. I think I'm going to do her dress too, or the bottom half anyway. Printed these on matte photo paper, so I can come in with a water brush and blend this out. All right, that's good. I just wanted a little pop of color on those. And I did mark where this needs to get glued on so that she'll show through the window, like this part will show. And I did pull out some bits and bobs. This is from that label set I had out earlier that I don't remember who it's by. I will look it up and leave that information down below. And then my stash of stamped bits and bobs. This is gonna get inked because it is too white. Right now, I'm just trying to decide if I want to add a bit of this behind her. Let's grab my tearing ruler. Oh, look, that got stuck to this ruler. And I'll leave the name of this printable down below as well, because I don't remember who this is by. I just printed out a bunch of stuff at the beginning of working on these that I thought I might use. I think I like that, except don't love that. So let's do that. Let's see here. That goes like that. Let's ink our edges on this. And I think we're just gonna slide it in and stick it down. And I'm gonna use my Barely Art glue because that gives me a little bit more wiggle time than my art glitter glue. So if I need to adjust it, I have time to adjust. And that will go in here. need to, running into a bit of an issue with the gusset at the top is that something keeps catching on it. The card keeps catching on it, not something. And I'm debating whether I want to see if I've got like a washi that would blend in nicely to put over the top corner. Let me see about that. I dug out some washi and we're just gonna put a little over like there. Let's go to that splooge. What I'm gonna do is put a little glue on the top there. Tuck it in, press it down, and then just bring that down like that. Trying to do that straight-ish. And now it's going to need something else to make it look like that wasn't just some random slip up. Let's stick her in. Oh yeah, I like that. And then when you pull it out, you can see the butterfly behind. All right, that definitely needs something over here. Got this from Michael's. Planned on using it in the butterfly journals and completely forgot I had it. All right. Folding it back. That really does blend in quite a bit. That just blended in way too much, and it needs a third. Let's use this one. That works. All right, the red signature is done. Okay, so we need to do this girl for this pocket. And so I've gone ahead and cut a piece of coffee dyed paper. I've decided she's gonna go all the way at the bottom so that she'll show through the window. And I wanna add, I grabbed some acetate elements by 49 and Market. And I'm gonna add a line of washi down here like so. Let's just use some glue stick. If I can get the lid off the glue stick. There we go. Right, then she's gonna go like so. I want the leaves to be coming out from behind, so they're gonna go there. I'm gonna use my Barely Arts glue because that works a little bit better with this sort of thing. Use my words. With like acetate and vellum and things like that. Then art glitter glue, and I'm gonna stick to where there's printing on this. gonna round corners. Add a little bit more glue under there because she's coming up a bit. Stick her in that pocket. Yeah, I like that. Okay, I'm gonna set that aside for a minute, and what we're gonna do is, there were about 3 pockets that still needed stuffing. So I pulled out, this is one of the backgrounds. I did a video on this, and we're just gonna add a butterfly to it. And I did a video on the butterfly clusters too. They should all be in the playlist for the butterfly journals, because yeah, I did a lot of videos making stuff. So that one's gonna go in a pocket. We'll pull that over in a minute. Then I've got this guy, and we're gonna do number, registered. We're gonna ink those, and I want a butterfly, which I did not pull out. I like it going that way. Okay, let's pull this over. Pull these guys over. I'm gonna grab a purple brush, some shaded lilac. And I'm gonna ink the edges as well. See if I can tear this edge a little bit. Oh, that worked. All right, let's ink those edges, and we're gonna go darker this time. So we're gonna use Villainous Potion. I am gonna trim a little off the bottom here because there's a little showing there. This is hanging over. That's short. Let's go ahead and round our corners. Glue everything down. That, I think I have a video on making decorative tapes, and that was test one for that video. And this is just a stamped bit from, I think that's a Tim Holtz stamp. This one needs its corners rounded. Let's stick those where they go real quick. Remember, this one needs a tab at the top, and this is a digital by Ink and Page. Ink our edges. Add a butterfly. All right, let's put these guys where they belong. Okay, I think there's not a lot that needs to be done, but there's enough that's going to take a little while, and I have a feeling this video is already very long. So we're going to stop here for today, and then we're going to have one more video where we do like the final finishing touches on the signatures, and we do a journal topper and add maybe some charms or beads, because I've got that guy. I feel like I've got another one of those somewhere, and maybe we'll add some to some of the tabs and probably to the ends of our elastic. So yeah, we're gonna stop here for today. We'll come back for one more video, and then this journal will be done. So that's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please do all the things that lets YouTube know you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment down below. Thanks for joining me, and happy crafting.